Yo, what is up? Welcome to Ninja Geek Games. There is one peculiar thing about Septima, which is witchcraft, magic, remedies and hunters. That's the essence of Septima for Mind Clash Games. This is a 1 to 4 player competitive game of hand management and bluffing that also throws in simultaneous action selection and resource collection. In Septima, you represent a coven of witches within the spooky town of Noctemburg looking to become the next leader or Septima. To prove your worth, you must collect resources by moonlight, brew potions and remedies, as well as heal the local townsfolk. And are they grateful? No, not in the slightest. During play, you'll be tracked by expert witch hunters and will also have to face off against an angry mob at trials to prevent your fellow witches from being banished. In general, Mind Clash games are known for vast amounts of components, heavy rule sets and complex play. So in this video we're going to look at the components and game mechanics as well as review the expansion Shapeshifting and Omens. Is Septima a totally witching game or is it already marked with the witch's curse? Let's look at what you get. This is the main board. There appears to be a lot going on, but as you play it gets easier to understand all the specific areas. This is the town of Noctemburg, containing a hospital and various buildings surrounded by the enchanted woods. In the centre you'll have areas for patient and building tokens that become part of your actions later. Healing patients generally provides a bonus, and with every game you'll have different combinations of buildings available that can boost your actions. The forest area is filled with resource icons, which are ingredients, and once collected you'll claim the corresponding tokens. Around the outside you have a number of huts that house the dreaded hunters, and this whole area is connected with multiple paths to track your movement during play. We have 2 trial chambers and an area to store citizens, and these 2 sections track the rounds, phases and which ingredients are available to collect each moon phase. Lastly, this old dear is the Septima, and she also helps boost your actions. We have 2 sideboards, one for storing various potions and remedies and the other is a ritual board that kind of acts like a tech tree of sort. The top 3 potions are used for healing patients and the bottom row is for your own personal use, and each has an ingredient cost. The ritual board stores the spell cards and you can claim these as you progress up the track during the game. Most of the other components are tokens and tiles. There are a load of witches, and if they join your coven you have access to their special ability. Wisdom are the victory points that you'll be chasing throughout the game, and we also have some crystals which are used as wild ingredients and some good luck charms. The angry citizens are an uncanny shade of red meeples, and man, these are an angry mob of misfits, and we also get some markers to track certain aspects of the game and a die to be used when hunted. As predicted, a vast array of components. The artwork has a nice, light, mystical feel and I quite like it, and they're of good quality. Yes, the whole game does look incredibly busy. Once set up, it takes up an enormous amount of table space, and I've not even gone over the player components yet. Therefore, it can appear daunting, especially considering the theme of the game seems quite cosy and light, so new gamers to Mind Clash games may feel a little overwhelmed at first. Each coven in the game gets a lovely oversized player board that has areas to place your witches, track patient healing, hold claim resources and record your suspicion level. Your suspicion ties in closely to being hunted and angry mobs forming at trials, and your patient healing track represents each of the 3 ailments and shows the bonus for helping them. You also get a leader meeple that sits on the main board, loyal citizens to oppose the angry ones and a small deck of action cards. So again, more things to keep track of. The rulebook is fairly long. You're looking at 23 pages with quite a lot of text, and that's even before you get to the solo mode. The first setup is a long one, but this gets much quicker with each play, but the only other thing that I would require is more player aids. We have some nice ones for round structure and the potion use, and there is an 8-page appendix at the back of the rules, but I'd much prefer a separate aid for this. But once set up, it is a thing of beauty, providing a very captivating theme of mythology and fantasy. So, how does it play? Well, as I said, it can be daunting at first glance, but what we have included here is an introductory or basic version of the game, and I strongly recommend at least one play of that before the full game. The basic version removes the ritual board and spells and town buildings, as well as a few witches and action cards, just to get a good feel for the game. Regardless of which game you play, Septima is played over a single year consisting of 4 seasons. Within each season there is preparation, which is like a minor setup. This is followed by 5 moon phases which make up the bulk of the game. Here all players will select one action card, reveal them at the same time and then resolve these actions in turn order. Once complete, the dreaded hunters will activate and move around the board, and then there is a tidy up phase at the end. The process of action selection to tidy up is carried out 5 times, where we then have a trial. Here the townsfolk gather and decide the fate of any successfully hunted witches. The best thing to do is to tie them up, throw them in a pond, where if they drown at least they can rest assured that they were not in fact a witch. Phew. No, this game is not that brutal. If found innocent, a player may be able to entice that witch to their coven, but if guilty they are exiled from the town forever. At the end of a trial, the season closes in where we prepare for the next, and the winner a newly crowned Septima being the coven with the most wisdom after 1 year. Each coven has access to 9 action cards, and in each season you'll play just 5 of them, 1 each moon phase. I'll briefly go over the basic action and later discuss how we activate the bonus ability on these cards. During action selection, all players secretly choose a card to play. You can discuss this amongst yourself, lie, bluff or tell the truth, and this will become clear later. You can collect ingredients from the forest if your leader meeple is adjacent to areas where icons are printed. However, you can't collect any old herb or berry. This is dictated by what phase the moon is in. This track indicates which lunar phase we're in, and after every action resolution within a moon phase, this token will move to the next, where we can then choose our cards again. The token always sits between 2 ingredients and dictates which are available for collection at that time. With your ingredients, you can brew a number of herbal teas or practical potions, where any crystals collected can be used as a wild type ingredient. Practical potions allow you to travel across the map or reduce your suspicion level, whereas remedies are used to heal patients. Each remedy can only heal a particular patient, but you also get to advance up the patient track on your player board for that ailment. These provide immediate bonuses as well as endgame wisdom. If too far from a particular location, your leader can fly on their broom around the forest, following these tracks and nodes and perhaps claim an ingredient on the way. Certain cards allow you to send your loyal citizens to the crowd area or even into a trial chamber, which is important during a trial. Need a spell? No problem. Perform a ritual and move up the ritual board containing and readying exhausted spells as you go. Depending on the route you select, spells of a particular colour can be claimed during your turn. Some provide wisdom if you meet certain requirements, others have an ongoing or immediate action that you can take. When choosing an action card, you always get to carry out the main action. However, each card has a second bonus action you can take in addition if you play the same card as 1 or more other players. So why not just openly discuss this and team up to get these bonuses? Well, Septima has a clever suspicion track. Anytime your card matches that of another player, each of you advance up the track. As we'll see, this increases the chance that you'll run into a hunter and can also force you to lose one of your witches. But what this means is you can bluff and lie, or even act in a semi-co-op fashion for a short time, to your own ends of course. Also, the Septima on the main board holds an action token matching those of your cards. Here you always get to see what she offers and can claim the bonus ability of your action, but this increases your suspicion level at a faster rate. Lastly, if you do match an action with another player or the Septima token, you may get to advance up the ritual track, so not all is bad. Having a high level of suspicion is dangerous, so a quick chant can reduce this, perhaps saving you from tangling with a hunter. But if you want to take an action of a card you've already played this season, then the Remember card allows you to copy the effects of any card in your discard pile, which is very handy. Once everyone has taken an action, the hunters act and move towards your leader. The distance they move is calculated by your suspicion level and a little luck by rolling a die that can increase or decrease this value. If they catch you, you lose a witch from your player board to the trial chamber and could even lose wisdom, but you do get to run away. The trial is a really cool part of the game where the townsfolk gather to see the fate of any captured so-called witches. All citizen meeples from the crowd from all players are placed in a bag, along with copious amounts of angry dudes based on the level of everyone's suspicion. A number of these citizens are drawn randomly and placed into chamber spots. If there are more citizens from all players than there are angry ones, the witch is innocent and you determine which player won. They get wisdom and can claim the witch that we were defending to their coven. However, if players lose, then the witch is exiled, but another trial could occur if the second chamber also has a captured witch. I like these trials. I thought they were a pretty exciting part of the game, and yes, it's mostly luck based, but your chances vastly increase if you keep adding citizens to the crowd during your actions. After the trial, players may also have the opportunity to gain some sneaky bonuses like lowering suspicion, moving your leader meeple, or gaining ingredients. So, 5 moon phases, which is 5 action cards, and 1 trial equates to just 1 season. At the end of the 4th season, you get additional wisdom for how many patients you healed, citizens in the crowd or chamber area, as well as those provided by achievement cards taken at setup. I like the action selection mechanic of wanting to match with other players, but not the Septima if you can help it, as she increases your suspicion by 2. Actions can also be boosted if played near buildings on the board, and these will change every game. Likewise, if you carry out the ritual action near a shrine at the edge of the board, you can ready an exhausted spell. And this is quite important. Once activated, spells are not automatically readied at the end of a round. You need to find ways to do this, and they can be quite powerful, but climbing the ritual track and attending the trial can help. What I like about Septima is the game requires important decisions to be made. Do you try to match a card with another player to get the bonus ability, climb the ritual track, and perhaps claim already a spell? Or move to escape the clutches of a hunter? Healing not only provides advancement up the track with an immediate bonus, you also get endgame wisdom, reduce the number of angry citizens in a trial, and the possibility of preventing another player from claiming these benefits. However, you never feel totally in control. By this I mean you may find yourself with only a few resources, a spell you can't ready, or difficulties in gaining more witches to your coven, so the whole game is a slow grind but enjoyable. Septima is incredibly thematic, and more so with the introduction of the expansion Shapeshifting and Omens. This offers 2 modules that can be introduced either on their own or together. Shapeshifting allows us to take a new action card to hand, to morph into a furry pet or reptilian critter that reduces the advancement on the suspicion track. I mean, what's suspicious about a talking frog collecting mushrooms to brew potions? The Omens module provides positive or negative game events each round that all must abide by. Shapeshifting allows you to turn into one of 2 animals specific to each coven that replaces your leader meeple on the map. Depending on your choice, you place the corresponding tile over that witch tile that provides new abilities but limits the actions that you can take. The main difference in this module is that the only way to get your discard pile back into your hand is to shapeshift. Normally these go back at the end of the season, but in shapeshifting this is an important rule change. In Omens, you randomly select a number of cards for the game. At the end of the season, you then activate the Bright or Dark event for the entire season, based on the sum of all players' suspicion. Now, the Omens module can make for a tough game, especially for newer players if it's the only module used. Suspicion generally creeps up, meaning you will more than likely succumb to the Dark effect. This could result in being banned from using the bonus effects when healing patients, which is a pretty big deal. Therefore, I suggest using both, as Shapeshifters tends to limit and even reduce suspicion level more often, and it's a pretty awesome module too. You can change back to human form at will, but each of your animals provides a nice ability that can't be ignored. Septima has a solid solo mode. It's tough, with the AI action selection mechanic is determined by a roll of a dice, so it can appear random at first. However, the available cards for selection can be manipulated with clever use of your negotiation cards. These can adjust the order, make some more likely, or even choose the action, but they are limited and must be used wisely. On top of hunters, there are also giant spiders that scuttle around the board, but unlike hunters, they are not reset each moon phase. These 8-legged freaks take your wisdom or guard areas on the map so you can't collect ingredients, and unfortunately we don't have a big enough newspaper to roll up and smack them with. The difficulty can be adjusted, and you can incorporate the expansion modules where the Ultima cleverly adds citizens to the trial or increases suspicion to ensure more than enough angry mobs attend. Overall, I thoroughly enjoyed Septima. It looks incredibly daunting, but over time you get used to the crunchy side and rule exceptions. It's very thematic. For those that love the mystical, weird and wonderful brewed with witchcraft, you're going to love it. The requirements to want to match your actions at all time, but the need to keep suspicion level low provides a really nice threshold of when to lie or collaborate, which is great fun. The expansion isn't a must. However, I'll likely include this in all games, but not for newer players. For me, Septima is a totally witching game with some nice mechanics. Thanks for watching. This is Ninja Geek Games. Cheers.